And what's going on, fellas? Sniper Doofus back with another weekly recap. Now, if you don't know what I do in these videos, I just go over the trades I took last week. And a final financial disclaimer: I am not a I'm not a financial advisor, so do trade at your own risk, and I'm not responsible for your losses. And it's risky, blah blah blah. And that's it. So this week I actually took only I took 3 trades, but it was 4 positions, and I did make some mistakes, so we'll go over them as well. And overall this week was pretty good, except nice. I didn't really go up that much in terms of value, so I only went up just under 0.5% this week, which is fine because it is in the green, and like once on that FTMO account this would equate to like 500. But if I did actually take a bit better, just like emotional view in these trades, they would have been extremely more profitable. So let's get into those trades. So if we head on into the first trade here on GBP CAD, I'll show you guys what happened on this pair, what I did wrong, something I could have done better, and hopefully in my next trades or whatever I do better. So now we're on GBP CAD, and this here was a trade that I had lined up. So let's just talk about this entry point here and taking it down all the way down to around here in this area. Whoa, actually moved it towards this area down here. So if we just zoom out, we can kind of see that after this it hit this high, I was unable to create a higher high, and instead of heading down, so I used the fib from this high to this low, and then I was trying to find an entry in between this 0.5 to 0.6 area. So I could see that it had rejected this 0.6 around here. It did come up again, and then it came up even higher, but then here once again in between this 0.5 to 0.6 area around this level, it was unable to create a higher high, showing rejection on this level as well as the 0.6 area. So that was a sign to take this trade towards that downside. Now I was targeting this area down here because I can kind of see that in this range there was a bit of market structure that ended here, so I kind of just put it above this area, this level right here, right? So we can see it's support there, resistance, support, and then resistance right there again. So that was kind of where I was targeting for my exit. Now I'll tell you guys what I did wrong here. So what happened was I'd entered in. Now once it came down to around this area here, I closed it. So I closed the full position here, and then what I wanted was to see a break and retest of this, and then continue taking it towards the downside, and then once again target those lows. So what actually happened was on this break it came and retested, but then it went back above, and therefore I didn't re-enter back in on this trade. And if we also take a look at it, something that could have happened is that if I was to simply just close half of the trade and move my stop loss to break even, we can see that it does come back and end up closing there. So therefore this trade would have closed a bit in profit for about 1%, and the rest of the position would have closed. But after that we can see that it came and it ended up hitting take profit. So this trade was kind of unfortunate, but really I'm not too ashamed because it did end up in profit, and it made up for all my profits for this week. And now if I headed over to my second trade that I took, which I was pretty disappointed about, but you know, it is what it is. This one was on UJ, or like Euro JPY. So we can see here I took this trade towards the upside and it hit take profit, but I actually closed this at break even. So if we just take a look at the reason why I had entered in, if we head over to the 4-hour chart, we can kind of see that this is COVID here, then some news, but normally it traded on the higher part of COVID, this range. So here it came to these lows, so I kind of just assumed that it would go up. And then also there was this level here, so I thought that it would go back up and test before it comes on its way down. So I entered in right here, and as soon as I had entered in, it started to shoot up a bit here. So if we were to just zoom in here, we can see that as soon as I'd entered, it started moving up here towards the upside. So I actually wanted to kind of close a bit of the position here, but I couldn't because we can see that risk to reward ratio. So what happened was I moved my stop loss up to break even, and then due to the spreads, I lost 4 cents on this trade, but essentially it was just break even. But if we just say that I stayed in this trade, we can see that this trade would have gone and just hit the take profit, and it would have been a beautiful trade. But essentially I did get stopped out. So something that I could do for next time is that just be more confident in like the analysis, because this is like a recurring problem. I really just need to stay in the trades for longer, just so I can because as my win rate goes up, my profitability will go up, and then I can just gain more money. So for this trade here, I could have gained 3% if I didn't really move my stop loss up so much. Or if whenever I am going to move my stop loss up, I need to be more wary in the market, essentially looking for a re-entry, especially if the trade is going into my side. So here we can just see that this trade did stop me out, even though it did go and hit my take profit. If I just stayed in it, then I would have wiped a nice little profit on this trade. But for next time, hopefully I can just stay in. So taking a look at the last trade was actually UJ on this pair. Now this one, I actually asked a question in my Discord if they knew what was wrong with this setup, and no one really replied. So I just told them what was wrong with it, and we'll just head into what was wrong with it. So let's head into it. Alright, so taking a look at UJ here, we can see, I actually asked the question on if people could see the problem within my entry onto this pair, and I could see it. Really, as I entered in, that's why I ended up closing this position early. But something that I didn't really look for was a re-entry, because generally after I take 1 or 2 losses, or even just 1 loss within the week, I kind of take a step back and try and become more stable mentally and psychologically before entering the markets again in the next week. So really I could just see that whenever it hit this low here, I'd enter in. So like it started to shoot up. So what I did was I entered in. Now, just off the record, this little drop is definitely because of election, and I'm definitely going to be looking in for a buy from here, taking it towards the upside. We can already see that it's starting to head up here. We are seeing that divergence, so this looks like a good trade that I'm just going to take it towards the upside, and possibly just have it on a on a larger lot size. Anyway, so if we take a look here at this setup, right, we can see that I used the fib now from, can I just zoom in please? Alright, so we can see that I kind of used the fib from this low here to this high up here. So already there's a problem here with the fib. Anyway, we can see that the key level right here is in between this 0.5 to 0.6. So I'd entered after seeing this bit of rejection here on these 2 candles. But the problem here was that it had already entered after. So we can see here that it came up to here, then it dropped already into this 0.5 and was unable to create that higher high. So that's already showing us that there is a loss in that uptrend momentum. But then I entered in, I could see and I identified that there was this mistake here. Now I entered on this because I really just wanted to be a bit more active in the market. This is once again something that I shouldn't be doing, but we can just see that like I entered in, I did take a slight loss on this trade, but something that I think was probably the biggest contributing factor to this loss was the placement of the fib. So if I just delete that, zoom out a bit and input probably a better fib, in my opinion, this is what it would have looked like, and you'll actually see that it would have been basically an exceptional trade, right? So I believe it was using this low here to this high. So we're going to use this high up here and this low down here. Once again, we can see that if you entered within that 0.5 to 0.6 area here, targeted the one, you can just see there, this here could have been a nice 50 pip trade towards the upside. And then once again, you just set that stop loss around here. Maybe set this to 3%, this here done 6% trade that you would have made, or that I would have made. So that was really the mistake, but it's pretty good that I was able to identify what was wrong with it and then identify something that I could have done better for this trade in particular. So with that said, guys, those are really just the trades I took for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, what's it called? If you guys were just curious on the trades that I missed, this week there was actually an extremely high amount of volatility in the markets in relation to the election in the US on most of like the US pairs. So I didn't really want to trade too much this week, and hopefully just in the next week I could get some more profits, hopefully more than 0.5, just under 0.5%. So with that said, I didn't really miss too many trades that I really wanted to get in or that I analyzed, although there was some that actually I was pretty interested in entering. So if you guys watched before, I was looking for a buy at around here. We can see that it would have been a pretty good trade because we can see that right now it'd be in profit. And then there's also one here on this GBP CHF where I've been making a few dollarinos, kind of just trading within this range and taking it towards the upside. But in terms of actual trades that I analyzed and really wanted to get in on, there wasn't too many. So I'll just edit that in if you guys were curious. If you want to check out my streams and all that sort of stuff, my other socials, hit the link in the description down below. I'm also working on 2 new videos, so be sure to check those ones out when they do come out. It's going to be just like opening accounts and that sort of stuff and my actual trading strategy, but more in depth. And with that said, guys, I hope you guys had a good trading week, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya.